The CDC is warning of an overwhelming wave of violence and trauma impacting teenage girls. In the CDC survey of young people, finding nearly 60% of teen girls felt that they were, quote, persistently sad or hopeless.
Oh my God.
And then 1 in 3 have considered suicide, and that's a 60% increase over the last decade.
Well, this comes as a school in Ocean County deals with the tragic loss of a student. Adriana Cush, 14 years old, died by suicide just days after being attacked in Central Regional High School in Bayville. And then a video of this vicious attack was posted online to further bully her. And so the pervasiveness of social media and isolation due to the pandemic, I would guess, is exacerbating this crisis, but I'm not a professional, so let's bring one in.
So we're joined by licensed therapist Selena, who's a co-founder of Moonrise Art Therapy Collective in Conshohocken. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
This is just so alarming. I got an 11-year-old granddaughter. Here she is launching into her teenage years. What did you take away from this report?
Well, I think, the mental health of our teens and youth are more important than ever. And I think that we really need to, be aware of this, not only at home, but in the classroom. And I think that it just kind of highlights the pervasiveness of social media and kind of how it plays a role in this.
Do you blame social media more than the pandemic, or is it just a combo?
I think it's a combo, and I think it's hard to kind of discern what came, how to parse out, I think that the isolation from the pandemic definitely played a role, and I think we're still seeing the long-term effects of that. But I also think that the kind of rise of social media over the past decade has a huge impact.
And why do you think it's teen girls who are particularly vulnerable?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, I remember being a teen girl, and there is so much pressure to be and look and act a certain way. And I think that that is not a new issue, but the availability of social media, I think, just perpetuates it because there's this constant need for validation. And then if you post a picture, there is instant validation or rejection from your peers.
That's true. And a lot of bad pictures of people aren't posted. You're all filtered up and you're perfect lighting. You look so pretty. And oh my God, I'm not as pretty as her.
You're seeing the highlight reel. Yeah.
But and on the other end of that too is like the situation that we saw when bad things happen and folks really want to bully you, they put it where everyone can see and look at where everybody knows.
Yeah, and I mean, think about if someone was bullied 20 years ago. It would happen and it would still hurt, but there wouldn't be this kind of perpetuation of the bullying with the replaying of a video.
And it getting shared and spreading.
Exactly.
And shared around the world instead of just in your little community there.
Yeah.
But off of Alex's question there, why are girls more vulnerable than boys?
Well, I mean, I can't answer that for sure, but what I can say is that I think there is a larger pressure put onto girls to kind of present themselves in a certain light. But that's not to say that, boys are not feeling this pressure too. It just may be underreported, or maybe they're not as comfortable sharing it.
So how do you know then that your child is feeling this way or dealing with this as a parent?
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. I think, just being aware of what your child's doing, kind of their presence on social media, but also just talking to them. I think having an open dialogue about these topics are really important, especially now, and just kind of leading with empathy. So if your child is sad or feeling hopeless, find out more and talk with them.
1 in 3 teenage girls in this country has considered killing herself.
I know. It's jarring. It's jarring.
Can I tell the public that
Yes.
she's pregnant and in about 2 weeks she's going to have a child? Does reports like this make you go, geez?
Yeah, of course. And, I'm a therapist as well, and just kind of seeing the kids that I treat as well, it just kind of gives me pause to think about, when do we kind of allow kids on social media? When do we kind of give access to smartphones?
Because it does seem unavoidable, because I'm sure a lot of parents feel, even if I say you can't be on there, they'll find a way to be on there, because everyone's on social media.
Of course, right.
So how do you navigate it? It's like...
Well, I think it's about moderation, and I also think it's about just kind of being a part of that conversation with your child and monitoring it.
You got to talk to them every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you are having those feelings, that we always put up this lifeline, and there it is.
Yeah.
Thank you Selena.
Thank you.